All right, so we are joined by Rob Rock Brindley of the Virtual Horsemen. How are you today, Rob?
I'm doing great, thanks, Tim. How are you?
Doing great. It's been an incredible show so far. I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
We've got some great teams flying today. I'm looking forward to seeing them as well.
Absolutely. So, can you tell us a little bit about the Virtual Horsemen and how long you guys have been in existence and what you're all about?
So, Horsemen, or Virtual Horsemen, were formed in 2008, and we represent the world's only P-51 formation aerobatic team. We're very, very lucky to have the support of the real team themselves. So, since 2009, we've been in a constant discourse with them. They've provided us with information on how they fly the routine, so entry speeds, altitudes, and basically what they're doing and what they're looking for in the maneuver, so we can replicate it as closely as possible. At the time, it was IL-2, and we moved to the DCS sim in 2012. The routine that you're going to see today is actually one we haven't flown before, and we were recently provided with some footage from a helicopter that was filming the Horsemen through the entire routine at Alaska in, I think it was 2014. And so we've been able to look at that and analyze it and look at exactly how they were flying it and ask any questions that we wanted to the real guys themselves.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. That's something you don't typically see. That's huge. And you mentioned that the Horsemen are going to be putting on a performance today that we might not have seen in the past. To my understanding, the Horsemen, you guys use a one-track song for your entire performance. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So yeah, the Horseman, for those of you that don't know, Ed Shipley, the left-wing pilot, is a producer. He makes videos, TV series, he's worked on quite a few things in the States. And as part of that, he got to know a guy called James Horner. I'm sure some of you guys will know he scored the likes of Titanic and Avatar and some of the top movies that you've ever seen. And James was also a keen pilot, and he spent quite a bit of time getting to know the Horsemen, riding in the back seat with them, watching footage, being present at the debriefs and out at the ranch in Texas. And he actually scored an original piece of music for the Horsemen to fly to. So the Horsemen, the routine is choreographed to that piece of music. It fits perfectly with it, and it's sort of synonymous with the routine. Now, you can't have one without the other. Every time I see Mustangs fly in formation, I'm thinking of that music, and every time I hear that music, I'm thinking of Mustangs in formation. Just the two go hand in hand.
Absolutely. It's such a gorgeous display, and like you said, coupled with the music, it doesn't get any better with the roar of the Mustang engines. We cannot wait to see what you guys have for us here today. And with the Horsemen flying a new routine, what kind of changes can we expect to see today from performances that we might have seen in the past here at Virtual Airshows?
So the first major change that we've got today is not the routine itself, it is the fact that we got a new leader. So unfortunately, I've been fairly busy the last couple of years, and that doesn't really work very well with consistent training. So what we've decided to do is P-Man, who has been flying on the right wing since 2013, has now taken the lead. And it means now that I'm flying on the right wing, so that the guys, if I ever can't make a show, Pete and Jim can still fly the two-ship routine. And the routine itself, the Horsemen, for whatever reason, have usually rolled left throughout the display. So whenever they've done clover loops or Cuban 8s, they've always rolled left. And we started to see a change when they flew the F-86 routine, in that they would come in and fly right clover loops and right Cubans. So this routine itself starts off with a right Cuban, a right wing over, and then another right Cuban, essentially flying a triangle around the front of the airshow box. And so that's something new, nothing too technical. One of the major changes for the routine is a maneuver that's the Horsemen are known for, is the trail roll. That's when we get two Mustangs and they are stacked underneath each other, 3 feet prop to prop, and we fly through a barrel roll. But that's only with two Mustangs. And when we fly the three-ship routines, obviously the last few years we haven't been able to do that, and we would always rather fly a three-ship routine at the virtual shows than the two-ship. With the new routine, what the Horsemen have decided to do is replace the bomb burst from behind show center with a normal loop, and as we exit the bottom of this loop, Pete, flying the number 1 aircraft, will pitch up and off to the right, and Jim and myself will drop into trail, Jim leading, me underneath, and we'll go over to the front left. Pete will fly a nice solo pass, normally an inverted pass or a 4-point roll, something like that, and then me and Jim will run in from front left and fly the trail roll, which we're really happy to have that back in the show. It's a challenging maneuver, but it's a lot of fun to fly when you get it right. And as we are doing the trail roll in front of the crowd, Pete is running behind the crowd, and hopefully as we exit towards show right, Pete is then going to drop in trail behind me, and we're going to come back through the crowd from show right to show left with the 3 Mustangs stacked in a nice trail pass.
Wow, that is going to be quite the sight to see, and we are absolutely looking forward to it. We're glad you're back. Welcome back to the airshow circuit.
I'm surprised they keep having me.
Well, thanks, Rob. We appreciate you stopping by the booth today, and we look forward to seeing you in the skies here in just a few moments.
Thanks for having us, man. We'll see you all soon.
Have a great show.
You are live.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Julian Tigre-Terrazona, one of the 2 main founders of the Virtual Horsemen. If you're just joining us, welcome to Virtual Beach Blast 2020. Hope you've been enjoying the show so far. Our 3-ship formation is just running in now for the first maneuver, the half cubanate. As the formation pulls up into the maneuver, the wing pilots keep a distance of 3 feet from wingtip to wingtip, while pulling 2.5 to 3 G into the climb.
User disconnected from your channel.
The Virtual Horsemen was founded in 2009, back in the days of IL-2 Stormovic 1946. This was the best simulator we could simulate the Virtual Horsemen show at the time until the release of DCS and the P-51 module, which gave us more realistic opportunities to replicate the team's display. The real team and the Virtual Horsemen are the only display team in the world to fly 3 World War II P-51s in close formation. We are proud to say that we are one of the few virtual display teams to be endorsed by the real team, providing us with all the information required to fly a more accurate show. The formation is now approaching from ahead and to the right for the second maneuver of today's display, as you will soon see them up to pull up into our right half cubanate and exit show left. As the formation pulls up, the pilots pull about 2.5 to 3 G, and the speed at the top will be roughly 120 miles an hour. Coming down from the half Cuban, the pilots will begin to increase the G again as they level out at around 300 to 350 miles an hour. As the formation pulls away, let me introduce the pilots flying for you today. Let me begin by saying that our 3 pilots flying here are all from the UK. Flying lead and fragile but agile is Peter P-Man Collins. joined the team in 2013 and learned to fly formation aerobatics with Rob Rockpindley, our right-wing pilot, in 2012. P-Man has flown several air shows and has even led the team in the F-86 Sabres at VFAT 2015. I've already introduced our right-wing pilot, Rob Rockpindley, who has been flying aerobatics since 2004. Rob and I go way back on IL-2 Sturmovik, having been in several formation aerobatic teams together, most prominently the Blue Eagles, also flying the P-51C. Rob also flew the Virtual Patrouille Swiss and the Virtual PC-17. On the left in Double Trouble 2 is James Reed, cosine Castrel, who joined the team in 2014 and is also a member of the Virtual Patrouille Swiss and enjoys flying solo routines. P-Man is now aligning the formation for what is one of our favorite maneuvers, the graceful three-ship barrel roll. This maneuver is made to look so stable, so graceful from the extensive amount of training pilots have to do prior to displaying for you today. We are now aligning formation once more to show you the speed of the P-51, as the boys will have to keep stable with very minimal input to stay in formation, as the planes will speed up to over 450 miles an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, the Virtual Horsemen high-speed pass. Pete is now bringing the formation to the front and to the left to perform yet another challenging maneuver. A loop with a slight twist at the top. This can be a bit disorientating for the wing pilots, especially when all the reference they have is the lead plane in front of them. The previous maneuver allowed us to better align for the next maneuver, which is another one I'd like to perform for you here today, giving you a great photo opportunity of our two beautiful P-51 Mustangs. The Pete will swing the formation round for the photo opportunity pass. Get your cameras ready. Ladies and gentlemen, from behind and to the right, the Virtual Horsemen Photo Opportunity Pass. And now for the most dynamic part of our display. The formation will soon run from behind the show center for a loop, but at the bottom of the loop, P-Man will break away from the wing pilots to prepare for his solo pass. Meanwhile, Rob and James will stay together and prepare for what we consider one of the most challenging maneuvers, the slot roll. And there goes P-Man. And now Rob will switch to trail formation on Kestrel's tail. From the right for his solo pass. P-Man in the inverted pass. Keep your eyes on shore right as Kestrel and Rock approach for the slot roll. Now you can see P-Man working hard to chase the two to rejoin for our final maneuver in formation. Rejoins are actually very challenging in the P-51 as we want to rejoin as fast as possible without overshooting. And the Merlin engine on the P-51 is a very powerful engine, as you may all know, and it's very difficult to bleed off speed without bleeding off too much. Formation is now approaching in line astern or trail formation, as all 3 pilots will break off to perform one last solo maneuver for you here today. Let's give one last round of applause to our pilots here today. First in is Castro. And here comes Rock. And finally our lead pilot, B-Man. This last solo break brings an end to our demonstration. We hope you've enjoyed watching it as much as we did flying for you here today. If you'd like to get to know us better, please don't hesitate to contact us on our Facebook page. We hope to see you at our next display, and stay tuned for further amazing demonstrations. Once again, I'm Julian Tigre Tirazona, and together with the Virtual Horsemen, would like to thank you for being here. Stay healthy and stay safe.